Hello, everyone, and this is Brian Kibler here with another M15 draft. This is a pretty terrible pack. There's really not many cards I'm super excited about here. None of the really premium commons, no Triplicate Spirits, no Flesh to Dust, and no Lightning Strike. The best commons here are like Undergrowth Scavenger and Heliod's Pilgrim. Just most of the really sort of low-end stuff. Avarice Amulet is not particularly exciting. It's really, really high risk, and I'm not really a big fan of it. There's lots of things that can go horribly wrong if you try and use it. It's just really expensive for a low impact effect, at least immediately. So I think that, frankly, the only card that I'm really interested in here is Gather Courage. Gather Courage is like not amazing, but it's a pretty decent trick. I like it in some of the more aggressive green decks, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick it up. I'm excited by Master of Predicaments. This is a really powerful card. It's a 4/4 flyer for 5 with an actually pretty good ability. This ability is quite relevant. Can allow you to just get a lot of value mana wise off of each attack with the Sphinx. Elvish Mystic is also quite good, but it's not in the power level of Master Predicaments. If Master Predicaments weren't here, I'd actually probably take Covenant of Blood. Covenant versus Elvish Mystic, I think, is fairly close. Given that I have Gather Courage, I might take Elvish Mystic, but with Master Predicaments here, it's a pretty easy pick. It is not a predicament, as LSV would say. And then here, this pack, Dauntless River Marshal's really powerful. There's another Covenant of Blood, which is pretty sweet, but I think I want the River Marshal. I do have Gather Courage, but I think one of the really important things to keep in mind is you don't want to try and get railroaded into the color combination from your first couple picks. You want to take the best cards in the first few packs and identify what colors are open and what aren't. Dauntless River Marshal, particularly given that I have a very good blue card, is the most powerful card in the pack by a fair margin. And if I can get into blue-white, it ends up being just really, really good. So we're going to take the River Marshal. And then here, there's another Covenant of Blood, but I actually really like the Sungrace Pegasus here. Covenant of Blood, I don't think at this point I want to be taking this black card. I could, it's possible, it's not unreasonable, but Sungrace Pegasus is also very good. Covenant is very expensive and can be, it can be difficult to actually end up with a great Covenant deck. You usually want to have the ability to convoke it effectively. But Sungrace Pegasus, particularly given that I just took a River Marshal, and this is actually, it's one of the better white commons. It's particularly good, against some of the also really good white commons. We haven't really seen other green cards coming our way since that Elvish Mystic. And because the River Marshal is so good, I think that I want to take the Pegasus here and try and go in that direction. And then here, there's nothing really exciting here. The best card here is Living Totem. So I think I'm just going to take Living Totem here. There's no really good blue cards or white cards. I mean, Soul Mender is okay. I think it's actually at its best it's ever been in this format, because it is, not only does it have synergies with some stuff like Pridemate, but it also can reduce the cost of things with Convoke. So one casting cost creature is actually pretty relevant in this format. It's kind of like a mana elf for a number of spells. So I'm gonna take the Living Totem. Now here, there is a Heliod's Pilgrim, which is pretty good. A Sanctified Charge, which is actually quite great. I'm gonna take the Sanctified Charge. If you end up with a heavy white deck, this card is just unbelievably powerful because the first strike and +2/+1 is just really good. It's actually just great even if you are not necessarily super heavy white. So I'm gonna grab that. We're still leaving ourselves open for a lot of possibilities here. I don't particularly like Marked by Honor, but we did see a couple of Heliod's Pilgrims that might come back, and if you do end up with Heliod's Pilgrim, being able to get Marked by Honor is pretty nice. None of these other cards are super exciting, so we're going to go ahead and grab that. Razorfoot Griffin, so it's pretty clear that white is open, which is really nice. This is actually one of the really nice white commons, and we're just going to go ahead and snap that up and hope we can stick with white here. I'd like to be blue because Master Predicaments is the best card that we have. Maybe not. Maybe sort of on par with River Marshal if we are the two color combination. Our green cards aren't great, but we haven't really seen much blue coming through. So here, there's not really any cards that are particularly valuable. I'm going to take Chrono Stutter. It's not good, but it is a reasonable card if you end up what in the world? Well, I'm going to take this Covenant of Blood, because none of these cards are particularly good. Maybe I end up being black if it's this open. That's just crazy. None of these are really cards that I'm terribly interested in. Invisibility, I can see maybe playing that. If you end up with the Juggernaut. Ooh, another Invisibility. Oh god, Juggernaut deck. But here, nothing really interesting. I'll take another Invisibility just in case. So I'm pretty clearly white. My second color is unclear. Green hasn't been super open, or blue, neither of them. Divine Favor. If we do end up with a Heliod's Pilgrim, that gives us Hot Soup is not that bad. It's very strange to me that you get it super late, in particular because it has synergy with so many of the artifact things. All right, we're gonna make this a little bit bigger. Make this a little bit bigger. So we're certainly not planning on playing Invisibilities. We're hopefully not playing Chrono Stutter. It is unlikely we play Covenant because I'm doubting that we're gonna be black. But so I have two sort of blue cards. I have Dauntless River Marshal and Master Predicaments. The thing about Dauntless River Marshal, one of the reasons that it's such a good pick early in drafts, if you do end up white, it's still just a 2/1 for 2, which is like not a great creature, but it's a fine creature. And here's a Triplicate Spirit, so we basically don't need to look at the rest of the pack. So yeah, this is a very easy Triplicate Spirit pick. None of the other cards are remotely close, even if we were in any color. So we're gonna take Triplicate Spirits. And the more Triplicate Spirits and the more Sanctified Charges you have, the better each of them get. So right now we're mostly just interested in cheap white creatures, because that's what goes best with these things. Here, there's Geist of the Moors and Raise the Alarm. This is an interesting pick. Geist is, a three power flyer is pretty powerful. 1 toughness creatures are fairly vulnerable against things like Crippling Blight and what's it? Forge Devil and stuff. I think this is fairly close. I think Raise the Alarm might be better. Because Raise the Alarm fuels the Convoke on things like Triplicate Spirits better. And it also is extremely powerful with Sanctified Charge. I think this is very close. Right now I don't have any 3 casting cost cards. And I also don't have a ton of flyers. I'm kind of leaning toward taking Geist. It is, it's not, I think in the best deck, Raise the Alarm might be better if I had like another Triplicate Spirits, but I think that my deck probably wants Geist because it's not really sort of super focused on tokens right now, and Geist is just a hard-hitting flyer. And here, there's a Heliod's Pilgrim. That is a 3-drop as well. I do think I just want the Heliod's Pilgrim here. I have a couple of targets for it. It's a reasonable creature. There's not really much else in this pack that's great. Ephemeral Shields is probably the next card I would take, so we're going to take the Pilgrim. Here, I think I just want Willforged Golem. This is another reason that I would rather have something like... Ooh, actually, there's a Kinsville Skirmisher as well. That's actually kind of close. There's a lot more opportunities to get reasonable 2s than there are to get Willforged Golems. There's just a lot of decent 2-drops. The Skirmisher, the Pegasus, the 3/1, and Willforged Golem in a token deck can be super powerful. This is another reason that the Raise the Alarm versus Geist pick I think is actually very close. Ultimately, it's possible by the end of the draft I'll wish that I had Raised the Alarm, but right now I'm going to take Willforged Golem. And ooh. This pack's actually pretty great. There's a Welkin Turn, which is excellent. There's a Hushwing Griff. I have no idea how good this card is. It's a rare, so it is often difficult to judge. You don't really get many opportunities to play with it. There's not that many end of the battlefield effects. It is a 2/1 flyer. It does cost 3 mana though, and it's it does have flash, but who knows how much value that is. I'm inclined to just take Welkin Turn because it's a cheap creature, evasive. Right now it looks like I want to be blue-white, so I'm gonna grab that. And here's a Storm... ooh, this is an interesting pick. Stormtide Leviathan, Pillar of Light, and Sungrace Pegasus. I think that right now I don't have any removal. I would lean toward taking the first Sungrace Pegasus over my second Pillar of Light, but I think I want my first Pillar of Light over my second Sungrace Pegasus. I don't think this deck wants Stormtide Leviathan. Leviathan's really good. But this deck has right now, it's fairly aggressive and has a lot of tools to end games quickly. And right now is not looking like it's necessarily going to be, you know, a deck with a ton of islands. I did just take a Welkin turn, so I'm more likely to play more islands because I want to play it on time. But I'm going to go ahead and take Pillar of Light. And Warden of the Beyond is excellent with Pillar of Light in my deck. So it's also just a good guy. It's just a 2/2 vigilance for 3 mana is a totally reasonable creature anyway. Ooh, holy Mass Calcify. All right, Mass Calcify is a really, really powerful card that somehow ends up being passed super late. This has been a draft in which white has been incredibly open, and you know it's not entirely surprising that it would go late, but it's still an incredible boon here. So now I sort of wish I had that other Sungrace Pegasus because here's a second Pillar of Light. I'm going to take it because it's the best card in this pack, and now we're at the point that I actually want to take Soulmender. Because I have, you know, a number of reasonable late game, mid game Convoke cards. My deck is not ultra aggressive, so I'm not really super interested in Void Snare. I have Mass Calcify, so I want to be a little more controlling, I think. And Soulmender can both keep me alive in those situations and is a totally reasonable creature to help convoke out stuff. Probably not a hot soup deck. So right now I'm very close to mono white. It's a pretty easy ephemeral shields. Nothing else is super exciting. I'm very close to mono white. Just don't want to get axed out by someone. And you know, if I can end up actually being mono white, you know, there's a lot of value to that. Though I would still probably play some number. I would of course play some number of islands for Dauntless River Marshal. It makes Mass Calcify even better if it doesn't even kill any of your creatures. So we're actually a little short on creatures. We only have 10 creatures right now. And another Heliod's Pilgrim or another Soulmender. I think I want Heliod's Pilgrim. I have the Divine Favor marked by honor. I think I want a second Pilgrim rather than a second Soulmender. The Soulmender does ramp out stuff. We can probably get another Soulmender, but having two Pilgrims gives us a lot of flexibility and additional value to any of the enchantments that we pick up. So, like this marked by honor, for instance, can be super powerful on a lot of my creatures, and Divine Favor obviously as well. So here. Well, there's yet another Pillar of Light. There's really no cards I want here. Turn to Frog is okay. I think I might take it, just because I don't want all of my removal to be in the form of Pillar of Light. So I'm, really vulnerable to particular types of creatures. This is a really weak pack for me. It's not a great pack overall. There's an Accursed Spirit and some other okay cards, but I think I'm gonna take the Turn to Frog. I don't want a third Pillar, so. And Devouring Light is super powerful. This is a great card, especially when you have a reasonable number of token generators. It's just super powerful. Also goes very well with Warden of the Beyond. So our Warden, we have Pillars and Devouring Light for our Warden. Right now I really just want creatures. Specifically, I actually want token generators. If I could pick up Raise the Alarms for the rest of the pack, I would be super happy. Now I'm kind of glutted at 3. Usually when I took Geist over Raise the Alarm, I was low on 3 drops, but now I actually have a ton. We're not going to play a Pillar main deck. And there's a Triplicate Spirits. All right, speaking of token generators, hopefully this Warden comes back, because Warden is actually pretty insane in my deck. So yeah, I don't think I want to play Turn to Frog. I'm going to hope not to. This deck is great. We just need some more cheap creatures. That's really what we're looking for. Research Assistant is a cheap creature. It's not a cheap white creature, which makes it worse on our mana. Though right now, if we are playing blue, we're going to play at least 7 islands because we have Master Predicaments and Welcome Turn. We're probably going to play 8, which makes Research Assistant a totally fine card. But yeah, just cheap creatures to allow us to play Triplicate Spirits early is what we're looking for at the moment. Soulmenders, Raise the Alarm, mostly Raise the Alarm. Jace's Ingenuity versus Razorfoot Griffin. I think I just want Razorfoot Griffin here because my deck is really not looking to play a particularly long game, I think. I mean, I do have Mass Calcify, which makes Jace's Ingenuity pretty good. But again, I kind of want to have stuff that's allowing me to proactively, play to the board and close out the game. Jace's Ingenuity is good, but my deck already has a lot of powerful long game stuff, and I think I'd rather just have, a reasonable creature with, Griffin. Well, there's another Griffin. How many? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. I think I want a third Griffin before I want like a Bronze Sable in this deck. When I already have, I already have 4 2-drops, and Bronze Sable doesn't actually activate any sort of synergies for me. So we're just gonna take another Griffin. We have a very good flying offense here. Wall of Essence is actually fairly nice. It's a good ground defender that can allow me to convoke, and I have a lot of flyers. And here, nothing I'm particularly interested in. I could just take the Staff of the Sun Magus and try and be mono white. Could be pretty sweet. Yeah, nothing that I particularly want here. I can take a Path Mage, maybe as a sideboard card against decks that have a lot of Giant Spider type effects. So as I predicted, by the end of the draft, I actually wanted Raise the Alarm more than I want Geist of the Moors. Raise the Alarm would be a better card in my deck than this. It could be mono white if I want. Well, I mean, basically white splashing island for River Marshal. I have enough cards, I think. There's another Pillar of Light. Well, if I play against a deck with a lot of big creatures, they are really just not in good shape. That stuff's getting exiled. All right, and here, first response. None of these are really cards I'm interested in. I'm actually just going to take the Maggot. It's just a reasonable card my opponents could play. I'll take a Tyrant's Machine. So this deck is pretty gross. I would definitely prefer having Raise the Alarm over some of the stuff that actually over the Geist. But I'm kind of surprised I didn't get another Soulmender, because this deck would actually love a second Soulmender to help power out Triplicate Spirits quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 2-drops, which is a good number. I'm probably just going to cut Ephemeral Shields. Maybe not. I have so many token generators, Ephemeral Shields, and I have enchantments, so Ephemeral Shields is pretty good. But it's probably my worst card. Maybe I just cut one of the Pilgrims. My Pilgrims, I have, 1, 2, 3. I have 4 2-drops, one of them being Pilgrim, or 2 of them being Pilgrim. So yeah, I definitely want to keep all of my cheap creatures. The Pilgrims are able to get Divine Favor and Marked by Honor. It's possible that I want to play only 2 of them, or only one of them, because I have 2 targets that aren't incredible. Mass Calcify is awesome. Master Predicaments is good. I mean, I don't think I want to cut Research Assistant, because I think that I want just more, enough cheap dudes to actually power out Triplicate Spirits and Willforged Golem easily. Ephemeral Shields feels like the worst card. Maybe it's good because of Helios Pilgrim and Marked by Honor. Maybe I want to keep it for that reason, basically. I just have a lot of creatures. I mean, maybe I just cut a Razorfoot Griffin. I want to keep my curve, my curve to Triplicate Spirits low. I want to keep these guys so I can actually play the Triplicate Spirits, and it's possible that I just actually want to get rid of one of these Razorfoot Griffins. The third one is, they're all good, obviously. Razorfoot Griffin's a solid card, but I could certainly see cutting one because I need the curve for Convoke, and I have enough sort of late game in order to actually take care of it. But what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 3 here. 1 and then 5 here. Can you sort by? Can you split creature? No, it's just a totally different thing. Okay, there we go. So these are sort of creatures. So I feel like I want to cut a creature, and I don't want to cut a 2-drop because of Convoke. I could see cutting 1 Pilgrim or 1 Razorfoot Griffin. Those are the things that I think are reasonable to cut, basically. Sanctify Charge is insane in my deck. Master Calcify is insane in my deck. Master Predicaments is just Master Predicaments. I think I'm going to cut a Griffin. I think, I have the a lot of my curve could be, 3-2 Marked by Honor, playing a Pilgrim and getting Marked by Honor, so I don't necessarily need something to fill in the hole at 4. My 4 costs can also just be casting Triplicate Spirits off of Convoke as well, so I think I'm just going to cut a Griffin. Let's add some lands. I think I just want to be 10-7. maybe I want to just be 9/8. I don't have that much. I don't have much double white. I have like this double white and these, which are convoke anyway. And I do have 2 blue 2-drops. So I think I just want to be 9/8. So I think this deck looks really good. I think this deck's very powerful. And one thing that I think is, I think how we got this deck was being willing to take Dauntless River Marshal. That, we took a green Gather Courage first, and we took Master Predicament second, and then Dauntless River Marshal was, I forget what exactly we took it over, but one of the, as I said, exactly at that point in the draft, one of the really important things to keep in mind is that early in the draft, you are not colors. You don't have colors. You are looking to take the best cards to enable you to build the deck once you eventually get to, having colors. And the most important thing is identifying those colors which, are offering you powerful cards. I mean, I could have potentially just gone in and taken those Covenants, but I think that the cards I took were better than Covenants. And I think that the sort of points of interest where, like Sungrace Pegasus is not like a first pick card, but I got it 4th, and it's an easy like second or third pick card if you're already white. And seeing that I went River Marshal into Pegasus, I could have taken the Covenant over the Pegasus, I believe. But I already had a really good blue card and a good blue-white card, and solidifying myself in that direction at that point when I already, it had already appeared to me that white was going to be open because I saw River Marshal 3rd, I think is, that's the sort of thing that reading the draft is really all about. And that's how we ended up with, this deck. So, it's just like, where are my spells? There they are. They're all the way down at the bottom, which makes a lot of sense, right? Group, combine groups. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on and see how this puppy does.